a quick program that you could write in a couple seconds using AI or pay someone on $5 to write. You've just put yourself into that position. So you're not getting better. You're just doing the job that a script could do. Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us.
Welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. Have you been trading for more than 2 or 3 years and you're still not profitable? Have you been trading for, goodness, who knows, 5, 15 years, 20 years, and still aren't successful and wondering why? Well, this podcast is for you. Today, we're going to dive into a little bit of the psychology and the reasons why some people have traded those 1,000 or 2,000 hours that we've talked about before, yet still aren't being able to consistently be profitable. Levi, good morning.
Good morning, Jordan. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, this is a big one. I mean, we've talked before about we had a podcast a while back on the time kind of you should expect to put into the market. But since then, we've talked with people who've put in that time and who've gone over and above and beyond and still aren't successful. And so I think this is a timely episode to talk about, okay, what are the reasons if you've put in a lot of time to the market? What are those possibilities? What are the reasons that you might still be struggling? And what can you do about it? Hopefully, if there's somebody out there who is still struggling after a long time, hopefully they'll be able to gain some information from this episode and maybe see some of these points, see some of themselves in these points. The first one that I wanted to dive into, the first point was one reason you could possibly still be struggling on the market after a lot of time on it is that you're not actually getting better, right? So the time that you've spent in the market is not time spent learning. The reason for that is you've distilled your trading down to an arbitrary set of rules or indicators that take your brain out of the equation, right? So here's an example. Your trading strategy is when the price crosses the exponential, the exponential average and hits resistance, or plus there's a bullish candle, you buy, right? Whatever. A plus B plus C equals take trade. When you've distilled your strategy down to an indicator or a set of indicators, or worse yet, some purchased indicator that you bought for some guru who stole from you, you've taken yourself out of the equation. We've mentioned this before in that a quick program that you could write in a couple seconds using AI or pay someone on $5 to write, you've just put yourself into that position, right? So you're not getting better. You're just doing the job that a script could do for much less effort and without the emotion. So no kidding. So you could spend as much time as you want. You could spend 20 years on the market. And if all you're doing is taking the place of a program, then you're not getting better. And so it doesn't matter how much time you're doing. It'd be like if all you do is use a calculator to, do math. Well, you could do that for 20 years. You're not going to get better at doing math. You've used a calculator for 20 years, right? The second you try to not use a calculator, you're no better at math. And that's where I think a lot of people never get past. They never get past that point where they're actually using their brain and training their brain to recognize price action.
That's why we've talked about it in the past, that EAs, signals,
Mm,
just copying successful traders. It will never work for multiple reasons. We've said reasons, for instance, you don't know how they're trading, you don't know their risk, their criteria, etc. But in addition to that, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The fact is, you could spend, you know, 20,000 hours using a calculator for math, and you still will have no idea how to do multiplication if you've
yep.
never actually taught yourself to do that. So totally agree. The second thing I would say is what the reason why people continue to keep losing is the fact that they don't know why they're losing. So that seems pretty obvious, right? Like, but it's not. So if you can't tell, if you don't know why you're losing, you can't fix it. So a lot of times, and this is something that I've seen quite a bit um, on like Facebook groups for prop firms and Discord groups is someone says, I've failed my like 100th account or I've blown my 100th account and I have like I don't know what's going on. And goodness, you and I have actually experienced this before where we go on back, we would have a losing streak and we would go to each other. I have no idea what's going on, dude. And the
Hmm.
fact is, if you don't know what's going on, you can't fix it. So you could trade, if you trade and you blow an account. If you don't know why you blew that account, then you haven't learned anything. And
Mm,
so many people do that. And there's multiple reasons why. And of course, we harp on this almost every single episode now, I think. I think we're starting to sound like broke records. So not to beat a dead horse, but of course, journaling, right? Like journaling is number one because you don't know what you don't know. And so when you blow an account, if you can't identify or at least have some data to look over to identify what's going on, you are not learning. And this is where you mentioned AI, and this is a great place actually where you can start using AI to help you trade better. So for instance, maybe you don't know what's going on, but you can actually upload your entire, export your trading history, upload it to Chat GPT, and start asking it questions. And you'll be able to start identifying. And who knows, maybe we actually could do a whole episode on how to leverage AI to help you trade better, because I think that would be really good. But you can actually
great
start
idea.
leveraging all the data analysis power of AI to identify when are you successful trading? When are you not successful? What pairs are you? And again, some for prop firms, especially if you're trading with them, will have this information, but a lot of them don't. You can use AI to help identify your shortcomings, and it's really that you can then use that to take your trading to the next level because now you actually have things you can implement. You can find out, okay, when am I most profitable? When am I not profitable? And if you find out that you're making 80% of your money within 2 hours of the day, I'll be honest, why are you trading you know, the other
Hmm.
6 hours of the day? And so that these are all things that you really can kind of leverage to help you. So finding out what you don't know is going to then enable you to start making an action plan in order to improve yourself and improve your trading um, moving forward. That could be psychology, that could just simply be trading at different times or at only certain times, etc.
Hey everyone, Levi here to quickly ask if you're finding value in the podcast. We would love it if you'd take a moment to follow the show and leave a review. Helps us out a lot and enables us to bring you the best possible content. Thanks for being part of the community. We love you guys. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I think when it comes to trading, we've said this before, but your edge is small. You don't need a big edge to make money, right? It, the market's very, very random. So if you can get any slight edge, that's a massive win. So anything you can do to increase that edge, like you said, using AI to, help you find out what times of day you perform best, or what pairs or what stocks or whatever, what markets you perform best at. Like doing those deep dives consistently, going back into your journal and consistently every week doing a review. I encourage you to do that. every week doing a review on how did I feel? What did I do good at? What did I do bad at? What do I need to change? Treating it like a business. I mean, you just have to treat it like a business. If you're not trying to scrape every last ounce of edge you can, man, you're not going to be successful in the long run. And just a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people treat it really casually. And if you treat it really casually, what in the world makes you think you're going to be in the top 5% of people who are successful? It wouldn't make any sense. And a lot of people do that. And you're not going to end up being successful. Number three, that of the reasons you could possibly still be unsuccessful after a long period of time is just a lack of consistency. This is a big one. Um, a lot of people never get past the point of looking for the magic bullet. And it's even less helpful now that social media exists. Twitter is a hellscape. In fact, any social media for day trading is a hellscape because it's really hard to block out the noise. Everybody's is posting their profits or what they say is their profits, or they're straight up lying to you, or they're saying they've got a special strategy. It's really hard to break through the noise. And it's hard to believe in yourself, especially when you're not profitable. It's a weird thing that you're asked to do as a new trader, because when you're learning anything, you want to be open-minded to learning, right? You don't want to be full of yourself. On the other hand, you also have to block out a ton of noise from a lot of people who say they know more than you. And so it's this weird little dance, this balance you have to pull between, yes, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing, I have a mind open to learning, but also block out the noise, pick one thing and go with it. Learn the price action and learn how to be an expert in that one specific thing. And a lot of people can't do that. And so they jump around and they bounce around between a bunch of different strategies, wondering why they never get good enough to make money at any of those strategies. But again, the top 1 to 5% make money. So if you're bouncing between a bunch of different strategies, what makes you think you're going to end up in the top 1 to 5% of that thing? It would be, using a sports analogy, it would be like practicing to be a quarterback at American football, practicing to be a quarterback for 6 months to a year, and then switching to running back for 6 months to a year, and then wondering why you never get good enough at either of those. Well, they're
Yeah, I mean,
completely different things.
I was thinking the same thing with musical instruments. It's like playing piano for 3 months and then going and
Sure.
playing saxophone for 3 months. Like it's the same thing, right? I was just thinking on the top. I was just thinking on the top of my head when you mentioned it. We might need to put together just like a one-page PDF or something that people could have on with some of the stuff that we recommend that cuts through the noise, right? Because you're absolutely right. Like I was on Facebook yesterday going through a group, and the amount of garbage on there, it's 99%. It may be higher. It may be
Hmm.
99.5% garbage. And so, yeah, it's trying to navigate that is, I agree with you, it's absolutely so hard.
Yeah. It's a problem even for anybody who's experienced. It's tough. It's tough. You're not really designed to spend all day looking at other people's success or supposed success and their special indicator or their special strategy and not have it affect you. So it's brutal out there.
Which says, I think, leads me to my last point, which is desperation is causing you not to be successful as well. So you're going on Facebook, right? You're going on Instagram, you're going on Twitter, seeing all of these stories of people supposedly being successful. And it can make you to start feeling desperate. So if you're trading, there's a lot of people I see that they're like, oh, I lost my job, I'm trading, I have to make this work. If you're trading desperate, I'll just be honest with you, you will never be successful because you can't trade for money, especially when you're learning. You have to be trading to learn the skills in order to then make money sometime down the road. And who knows when that will be, but it's not going to be instantly. And it's certainly not going to be within the first few months. I don't care what any guru or you see online, it does not happen. And so if you're trading desperate, it's just not going to work. So if you've lost your job, I do not recommend trying to trade. Again, you can trade a couple hours a day, but go find yourself a job. You're going to need some way to support yourself for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years while you're putting in the time to learn how to trade.